If anyone ever gets this letter, I want you to tell everyone about my experience with Don Rourte. It happened several months ago. I was recruited into the Project Hero program by one of Sector White's members. I don't know why they wanted me. There wasn't anything special about me. I didn't have many friends or family. I just enjoyed staying home and writing online blogs, just minding my own business, really. One day, a recruiter came to my door like a salesman and asked me about my interests in Project Hero. I'll admit, he made it sound nice with his talk of positive morale and becoming a superhero, pretty much. Now, I wasn't completely sold off the get-go, but I did agree to come and at least see the lab settings. I mean, it's not every day you get to actually see the inner workings of the sectors. Plus, I thought it'd be a nice break from my daily routine. As I was being escorted to the labs, I noticed a definite lack of lights on in the building. I thought maybe since it was still daylight, they were just trying to cut costs, so I didn't think much of it. Even when we were inside the building, most electrical items were turned off. It was confusing to say the least, but the recruiter's friendly attitude assured me that it was all just standard protocol. It wasn't much of a tour, however, as I was led past most rooms and into a small conference room. There, they told me about what the plan would be if I were to participate as their second subject. I asked about their first, but they were quick to change the subject. In essence, they told me that they wanted to give me superior powers of movement, abilities that could help speed, agility, and even flight. At that point, I didn't really know what to think. I had heard of the Project Hero program before and of its purpose, but I didn't really think that they would actually just be picking people out at random. They went on to tell me that, should I choose to accept, they wanted to try a new method. Apparently, in response to some recent cyber terrorism, they've developed a means to, quote, download new genetics through some serum 195 thing. They explained the process in great detail, informing me that they could essentially transfer my soul into a computer and be able to upgrade and manipulate anything on there, so that when I came back to reality, the RNA of the serum in the computer code would attach to various points in my mind and body while carrying the computerized charges, essentially merging within me, a second digital body. At this point, I was getting serious doubts. I thought, maybe I may not have many friends, and maybe I've had a falling out with my parents, but there's nothing like a scary scenario like this to make me run back to them with open arms. I knew then that I'd much rather deal with my social drama than have to go through with this. It all just felt wrong. They must have been able to tell what I was thinking, because the tone instantly changed after that. They reassured me that it was a perfectly safe and quick procedure, tested hundreds of times before. All lies. I knew it in my gut. I said no thank you and wanted to leave. After a brief hesitation, they agreed to let me out. But as I was let out the door, everything got all dark so suddenly, and immediately after, I fell asleep. When I woke back up again, I was in a pure white room, bright with nothing around. I couldn't even see the corners. It was almost like a white void. I was so confused, but strangely, I didn't panic. I wanted to, and felt like I needed to, but I couldn't. In fact, I couldn't really feel anything now that I thought about it. I was there for maybe just a minute until suddenly this text just popped right in my mind. Not in front of me or on my eyes, just literally flashing in my mind. It said, "We apologize for the rudeness, but you will see soon enough that everything is in good hands." The text flashed as it exited my mind, and all I could do was just wait. It was strange. I should have been afraid. I should have felt a variety of emotions at that point, but there was nothing at all, just stillness. Eventually, I felt a tingling around my legs and back. I looked down and saw a transparent grid trace around my feet, followed by a more solid frame taking the shape of a boot. Layer by layer, they were creating a white mechanical pair of boots around my feet. Then a metal plating extended up to my knees. I felt the same sensation around my back, and I could see out of the corner of my eyes these white metal sheets that formed into a bird-like wing extend from my back. Text flashed again saying, "These additions are currently being cyber-genetically attached to your physical body and will be ready within 7 to 12 hours. Please use the time to train your abilities in a simulated test environment." Almost immediately after, I found myself outside the laboratory. The buildings, trees, and objects were all there for about a mile in each direction. After that was just white space again. What else could I do except fly? It was as simple as controlling another limb. I quickly soared straight up in the sky with a single leap. The simulated air rushed against my face much too strongly, however, so as I landed, a simple fitted helmet was created around my head. I leaped up again and used my new wings to soar around the buildings. It should have been fun and exciting. I've had dreams about flying since I was a child, but still I could feel nothing on the inside. A while later, I noticed a sectioned off area of the map. It was a small alleyway with a gate that reached up as far as my eye could see. I knew I couldn't fly over this gate. Something in my gut just told me I couldn't. I focused on the other side and felt a reaction from the mechanical boots. It was an odd sensation crawling through the boots into the rest of my body as if everything had fallen asleep. I eventually lost balance, but right as I did, everything went dark as I immediately found myself on the other side of the gate and feeling back to normal. I wasn't entirely sure what had happened until eventually I learned that the boots collapsed my body and darted through the gate at near light speed, almost like teleportation. After an undetermined amount of time, the simulation abruptly ended and the white walls themselves changed to wire frames. I could do nothing but just stand there and wait. Text started typing again. It said, "You need to wake up now. Quickly, find something." The text was not finished. I just stared at the blinking text bar until suddenly my entire vision went out in darkness. Panicked voices came echoing in my ears until there were full audio. "She's waking up," one voice said. Another said, "No, I said she can't wake up yet. It isn't complete. Send her back now." The second voice seemed determined despite the objections from his colleagues. I then heard a loud metallic bang as something heavy crashed on top of me. I immediately jumped out of the operating chair. It felt like a car battery surged through me. A thick piece of operating machinery fell off me onto the floor. Everything I felt at this point was pure agony. I felt burning and electrical currents surging through my body. My head was moments away from exploding. It was like a poltergeist of pins and needles was fighting to enter my body. I couldn't breathe as I screamed and gasped for air. There was so much pain, like my body was being torn in two. It was like two worlds crashing into each other. I couldn't concentrate through the pain, but I remembered a group of scientists screaming and panicking as the computer started to smoke and the light bulbs exploded. The IV stand on other tables and trays fell to the ground. What was making all this havoc? Apparently, the machine did manage to download the boots and wings only about halfway into my real body. They erratically and randomly phased in and out of their three-layered forms constantly as electrical charges surged out from them. Sparks and multicolored lights popped and fizzled all around the incomplete glitched pair of wings, boots, and helmet. It hurt so much. I got out of the chair and the wings scraped along the wall, leaving burn marks on everything. Someone tried to subdue me, but instantly fell limp on contact. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I attempted to leap up into the air as in simulation, and I soared up through the ceiling out of the building. The helmet provided enough coverage to keep me conscious, but the flight did not help the pain in the slightest. I looked down to see how far I had left, but everything under me was covered in smoke and a bright ray of red-tinted lights. I didn't know what to do. The pain wouldn't stop, so I flew away off to a distant mountainside. It's been a couple of weeks now, and the pain is not subdued in the slightest. But I'm learning how to deal with it. The digital accessories still glitch and spark sporadically, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't continue living like this. I don't belong in this reality. It's killing me. I don't know what happened back there in the lab, but they did this to me. I did not consent to this experiment, but they did it anyway. I should feel so upset, but I still can't feel anything. The only thing I can feel is pain. Sometimes I feel if I could fly fast enough or teleport far enough, that these things can finally break off of me. I could go back to the sectors, but I don't wish to cause anyone any more physical harm. I'll find a way to break free of this curse someday. I hear people can see my light sometimes. I can only hope it's a spectacle worth seeing. It must be, because I'm known around this area as the Angel of Rose Lights.